from Hollywood, I'm Martin Grove, welcoming you to our Screendollars podcast, Box Office Autopsy. Right now, we'll look at the movie marketplace and analyze how things are going and where they're going, sharing some opinions from my perspective after decades of talking about Hollywood on CNN Entertainment Tonight and as a Hollywood Reporter columnist. It's hard to believe, but the first week of 2022 just flew by, and we already have our first disaster to talk about here on Box Office Autopsy. After we check out the numbers, we'll look at the awards season in our new Oscar Outlook feature, today spotlighting Denis Villeneuve's Best Picture contender Dune. But coming back to weekend one, we saw Universal Film Nation's The 355 open number 3 to a grim $4,008,000 at 3,145 theaters. Now that's about midway into the $4 to $6 million range that exhibitors were expecting. It's a weak kickoff for this strong, kick-ass female spies thriller starring Diane Kruger, Penelope Cruz, Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o, and Bing Bing Fan. Critics hated it, 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, but audiences scored at 82%, which means the handful of people who bought tickets liked it. Although the 355 lacked box office punch, there were plenty of punches on screen, as you can tell listening to this scene.
I never really imagined that I would have so much fun doing fight training and stunt scenes.
They were developing everybody their own specific fighting style. There's no punches being held.
The fights are ruthless and at the same time emotional. It makes it more brutal because you feel the weight behind each move.
Oh, that hurt.
Here's a footprint for my co-star.
Every piece of action should feel like it hurts when it would hurt in real life.
I hadn't done anything like this.
Are you under control?
Are you?
No. We're the 355.
Universal reportedly picked up domestic rights to 355 for just $20 million, so despite the blah theatrical launch, the studio will probably do okay thanks to streaming. 355's only playing for 17 days exclusively in theaters. Then it goes to premium video on demand for rentals at $24.99. After 45 days in release, like all Universal titles, it will start playing on Peacock's pay tier. After 4 months on Peacock, then it'll go to Amazon Prime for 10 months, and members can see it free there, after which it's back to Peacock. Well, fortunately, exhibitors still had great ticket sales for Sony and Marvel's Spider-Man No Way Home, which added $33 million in weekend 4, down just 41%. It's now done $668.8 million domestic and $867.5 million overseas for a worldwide cume of $1.53 billion. Spidey's now the 6th biggest domestic film ever, beating Titanic's $659.4 million. But Titanic still leads by a hair worldwide with $1.54 billion. And that, of course, will change as Spidey continues selling tickets. Now, for exhibitors, having $33 million from Spidey is pretty much the same as if 355 had opened to a sizzling $33 million, and No Way Home only did $4.8 million after playing for a month. It still works out to having about 3 million people buying tickets and then spending on popcorn, soda, candy, and other concession treats. Well, looking ahead, the 4-day MLK holiday weekend next weekend, we'll see lively ticket sales for Paramount and Spyglass Entertainment's R-rated horror reboot Scream, starring Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette, all returning from the 1996 original. And better yet, Ghostface is back too. Let's listen in and find out more.
Hello?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Ghostface is back, and scary as ever.
Now's the time to make a new Scream. Because we had a special story to tell that connects the legacy cast members with a new cast into the world of Woodsboro.
My character, Sam, becomes the target of the Ghostface killer. Who is this?
Someone who knows your little secret.
She seeks Dewey for help.
Dewey, he's pulled back in because he's still got a huge heart and really wants to help.
Sydney, she's moved on in her life.
It's happening. 3 attacks so far.
And then chaos ensues.
It's just the perfect mix of new energy and also keeping in what made it so special in the first place.
I don't think it's exactly what people are expecting.
There's things that happen in this that are kind of shocking. I still can't believe it.
I've been through this a lot. Whoever this is going to keep coming for you. So I want you to help us kill him.
So many twists and turns. Who's the killer, who's not? We don't know.
Sounds about right.
Well, Omicron put Scream's live red carpet premiere on ice, but it's still tracking red hot. As with most horror films, Under 25 Women are its best demo, and they're scoring 8 points over norm. Now, Scream doesn't face competition from any new event films next weekend, but there is one promising family title that was to have hit theaters last October and will now start streaming on Amazon Prime. And that is Sony Animation's comedy sequel, Hotel Transylvania Transformania, which definitely sounds like fun in this clip.
On January 14th, Family Movie Night is getting revamped, only on Prime Video.
For centuries, no human has had the power to become a monster. Until now.
But is it safe, though?
Let's find out.
Is everything okay down here? Hey, Drac, what's up?
Oops.
What's going on? I used Van Helsing's transforming ray. You're human, Drac!
Dad?
Oh no, I have a total dad bod!
What is going on?
Huh?
What's up?
What the? I'm balding?
Who are those guys?
It's me, Uncle Griffin. You don't recognize me?
I literally never seen you before.
There is a place deep in the Amazon. Only there can the transformations be reversed.
Time to go.
Stay human.
If we don't fix you guys soon, you'll be like this forever.
Being a human is the worst.
Mosquito!
I got him! Johnny, wait!
Hotel Transylvania Transfermania.
Boy, that was fun!
Rated PG. Coming January 14th. Only on Prime Video.
Another animated film that would likely have made cinemas a family destination is Disney Pixar's Turning Red, which was going to open March 11th, but was just pulled from theaters, so it's now going to play exclusively on Disney+. There's no streaming start date yet, but they'll be announcing one before too long. The buzz is that it's not Omicron fears that prompted the change. And that, of course, is what a lot of media people are already telling us, that it's Omicron, it's Omicron. Well, it's not really Omicron. The fear is that Disney needs to add more high-profile content to Disney Plus in order to keep adding more subscribers. Now, Wall Street analysts have been down on Disney for a while now, saying the growth that Disney anticipated when they started Disney Plus, that growth is just not still there. It's almost there, but the growth is a little slower. So what Wall Street wants is more and more and more subscribers for Disney Plus. And what they don't seem to realize is that you can't add subscribers forever at the same huge rate. It just, they aren't there. It isn't possible. But nonetheless, Disney is trying to do it, and that's why some kind of event content is necessary. Apparently, the in-house series that they have been producing from Marvel and from Lucasfilm haven't done the trick. But Wall Street, which knows what it wants more subscribers. And let's always remember here, Wall Street is committed to streaming. That's their bet, that streaming is going to, in effect, kill exhibition, because streaming is technology, and where there is technology, Wall Street makes money. Wall Street's not going to make money on exhibition, so it's in Wall Street's interest to support and be a cheerleader for the streaming technology, and that is exactly what they have been doing. In any case, let's come back to the month of January. It was going to end with a box office bang, and that was for Sony and Marvel's action thriller Morbius, starring Jared Leto as the blood-infected Dr. Morbius. Well, now it's in isolation until April 1st. And once again, we can't blame Omicron for the change, although some people are already, but it's not Omicron. It's that this picture was sticking out on the tracking as a huge potential hit now. And that's bigger than I think anybody figured it was going to be. And I think Sony took a look at this and said, why are we wasting this picture in late January when typically movie-going is kind of slow, and it's also at the peril of the weather? You know, if you get terrible snowstorms in the east or the Midwest, why people don't go to the movies then. So why take a risk on that with a picture that looks like a huge winner? So what they have done is to put Morbius, as I said, in isolation for a little while, and April 1st they will put it into theaters. So it's not a case like Turning Red of skipping theaters. Morbius will be injected into cinemas April 1st. It was on that tracking that I just referred to. Morbius was 14 points over norm before they took it off the tracking. So I mean, it was huge. It was looking so good, it made sense to elevate it to early spring and benefit from movie-going picking up then, as it typically does. Anyway, that is the box office picture for this weekend. However, on the awards front, things are heating up, accelerating. Definitely so, because we are now getting into those couple of months leading up to the Oscars, which aren't until the very end of March this year, so there's still plenty of time for campaigning. And on Oscar Outlook, we will be looking every week at one of the potential contenders. pictures that people in the industry are buzzing about, that are winning some other awards along the way, and that look like they have a shot. Our focus today is on Denis Villeneuve's Best Picture contender Dune from Warner Brothers and Legendary Entertainment. Let's listen in first as the Oscar-nominated Villeneuve explains why he wanted to make this sci-fi action adventure.
It's a book that has been with me since almost 40 years. And it's a book that I read numerous times through the ages. I mean, through my, from being a young teenager to an adult, I went back to it from time to time, discovering new things in it. It's a book that is deeply rich and talks about a very profound subject, like the development of a young adult, how to find solace into another culture, how the curiosity and the capacity of adaptation is the key to survive, and to the danger of blending politics and religious power, the beauty of nature, and how we should, as human beings, bring back some kind of sacred quality to our relationship with nature, that we lost respect of nature, and the impact of colonialism. And it's a very rich novel, multi-layered, and when you read it, you can discover new things, and it's like, that's where the challenge was. It was to try to honor the complexity. Dune is a simple story, but with a lot of background and a lot of depth, and to honor that complexity, all those details, multiple details about different cultures or different ecosystems. I needed time. That's why I decided to do it in 2 parts.
Besides director Denis Villeneuve, Dune, which opened last October, has a lot going for it as an awards contender. It was 83% fresh with critics on Rotten Tomatoes, and it had great word of mouth there with a 90% audience score. It also resonated very well with moviegoers. It grossed just over $107 million domestically, and it did more than $396 million worldwide. The Academy likes to see contenders for Best Picture that have succeeded at the box office, that moviegoers have endorsed and that critics have liked. They like that stamp of approval. What's not in Dune's favor, however, is the Academy's long-standing refusal to take sci-fi films seriously, no matter how serious they are. Villeneuve is no stranger to this dilemma, having received 8 Oscar nominations in 2017, including for Best Picture and Directing, for his sci-fi adventure Arrival, which starred Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. It wound up winning just 1 Oscar for sound editing. Nonetheless, Dune's already an early front-runner for Best Picture and Best Directing nominations, and we'll keep an eye on it. It may be that as the Academy's membership base has changed in recent years, as the Academy has expanded it to make it more diverse and also to make it more international and to make it younger, that younger and international additional membership crowd is perhaps more likely to recognize the value as a Best Picture for a film like Dune. They won't see it just as a trivial sci-fi film that's just an audience pleaser. They will see it perhaps in a more serious way as a work of film art, which many critics feel it is. And again, we'll keep an eye on it, but it's definitely in the race and a likely contender in those key categories of Picture and Director. And it helps, by the way, to have a Best Directing nomination for a film that comes in with a Best Picture nomination, because that lends credence to it as a best film. If it's the film that made itself, it typically doesn't have nearly as good a chance at winning Best Picture. So we will see. Meanwhile, next week on Box Office Autopsy, we'll sing Scream's praises, and we'll shine our Oscar Outlook spotlight on another sci-fi Best Picture contender, and that is Netflix's comedy drama Don't Look Up. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, and, well, there's this comet coming into the Earth's atmosphere that becomes a big part of the storyline, but we won't get there yet. We'll tell you about it next week. For now, thanks for being here today, and if you were listening in the car, thanks for the ride. Time now for our film flashback look at what was happening in Hollywood right around now, way back then. Let's set today's time travel dial for January 11th, 1927. When MGM's Louis B. Mayer announced the formation, January 11th, 1927, of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, it wasn't meant to give awards. What Mayer wanted was a way to mediate Hollywood labor disputes without having unions represent filmmakers and studio workers. He first bounced the idea off director Fred Niblo, who'd made the 1925 epic Ben-Hur, actor Conrad Nagel, and Association of Motion Picture Producers executive Fred Beatson. Mayer's plan included an annual members' banquet, but awards weren't on the table yet. The Academy would have members from only 5 movie-making branches: acting, directing, producing, writing, and technology. Mayer invited 36 prominent Hollywoodites to a January 11th banquet at LA's Ambassador Hotel, making them Academy founders. The group was incorporated May 4th, and then elected Douglas Fairbanks Sr. President and Fred Niblo First VP. There were 230 members and an honorary membership for movie pioneer Thomas Edison. Events dashed Mayer's hopes that the Academy would keep real Hollywood unions from taking hold. In the summer of 1927, Paramount led the studios in cutting salaries by 10% for all non-union labor. The Academy okayed it, and movie makers were livid. 500 actors, writers, and directors met July 6th to address the crisis at the Writers Club, an early screenwriters association. They were about to take action when the studios backed down. After other disputes, guilds emerged and evolved into the powerful force they are today. In May 1928, an Academy committee was exploring giving awards of merit. By July, there were 12 categories and a voting system. The first Academy Awards, honoring 1927 and 1928's best films, were held May 16, 1929, at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Fairbanks hosted, and 270 guests paid $5 apiece for tickets to the 15-minute ceremony. The awards, already nicknamed Oscars, were designed by MGM art director Cedric Gibbons and sculpted by George Stanley. 1929's 12 winners were announced 3 months earlier, including 2 Best Pictures: Fox's drama Sunrise from German director F.W. Murnau for Unique and Artistic Picture, and Paramount's aerial action war drama Wings from William Wellman for Outstanding Picture. These categories were intended as equally prime awards, recognizing different types of filmmaking. A year later, the Academy scrapped Unique and Artistic in favor of its more commercial Outstanding Picture Award, fueling to this day the Best Picture Oscar struggle between art films and mainstream movies. And that's it for today's podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with another box office autopsy next week. In Hollywood for Screendollars, I'm Martin Grove.